Good evening.
Good evening. So we are going live now. So everybody is requested to be on mute. Thank you. Hello everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, because we have people joining in from different time zones. And it's lovely to welcome you all. I'm Shireen Kulkarni and welcoming you on behalf of Council for Creative Education. I'm the co-founder and director of Council for Creative Education, and it has been our dream to get people from all across the globe and have some nice discussions with them. So, this webinar is also a part of that dream, and today we are here. In our last webinar, which we had on 5th of October, we discussed one aspect of creative leadership, that is teacher as a leader. And today we are discussing about innovative leadership, like being the change maker. So we have our speakers who are eagerly waiting for their turn. But I would like to set some stage for this webinar, and I would like to take you through our journey of symposiums that we have conducted so far. So be with me and I will share my screen with you. So as you can see here, we have been conducting in these international symposiums for last 11 years, and now it's our 12th symposium upcoming in May 2025 from 4th May to 8th May. We have been blessed to get so many friends from different countries through this symposiums. And as you can see, the flags of Turkey, Australia, US, India, Indonesia, and China, Cyprus. So for this webinar also, we got the registrations from 17 different countries, including India, Nepal, Vietnam, Peru, and Croatia, and Austria, and the list is pretty long. So we have got these many registrations, over 100 registrations, and we are waiting for more and more people to join us today for this evening. But let me take you through the journey. So how did it all begin? So this is a presentation created by my colleague Hiram, and then I got his permission to present it in front of you so that I can make you understand that how we have observed these trends in creative educational development through this series of symposiums on creative education from 2014 to 2024. So last year we celebrated our 11th symposium in Lahti, in the Lapinranta University of Technology as our partner, along with University of Jyväskylä. So, but this in this last 10 years symposiums, we could get like total papers analyzed were 362, and we published 4 ebooks as the conference proceedings, and we have the recorded papers sets like 45. So, what kind of topics did we discuss through all these years? So, our very first symposium, which was conducted in 2014, was about introduction to innovative educational approaches, and we were trying to explore new types of methods to enhance learning. And it was like our very first symposium. We were quite new in that field, but still we received very good response from the people because the topic was very important. Then in the second symposium, we started discussing about the emphasis on technology integration in education, and the outcome was discussion on the impact of learning of students and impact on the learning outcomes. Then the third year was like 2016 and Symposium 3. The focus was on creativity and interdisciplinary learning. And the outcome was promotion of creative education and cross-curricular approaches. This particular symposium we conducted in one of the very creative schools in Tampere, and it was phenomenal to host that symposium within a school, because the subtitle of the symposium was creativity in nook and corner. So that school was so amazing that the people who attended that symposium could really see the creativity in the things happening inside the school right there. Then the fourth symposium that happened in Tampere University of Technology. There we were addressing the challenges in modern education systems, and the outcome was like identification of obstacles and potential solutions. The symposium 5, this was a special symposium again, because in Finland we celebrated the centenary of the independence, and so together we create was the subtitle of this symposium, and the main theme is like in-depth exploration of educational equity and inclusivity, and the outcome through this paper presentations and whatever submissions we got is like to strategies to promote equity in education. Then in Symposium 6, we had the theme like pedagogical innovations and student-centered learning. Outcome was adoption of learner-focused teaching methodologies. And then in 2020, something else happened. But before that, I would like to tell you, like so far, whatever, like until these symposiums, we could see that these symposiums reflected the societal changes, including technology integration in education. Uh, the main theme, like the underlying themes, were always well-being of the teachers and students, inclusivity, and future readiness. The educational research was emphasizing creativity, innovation, and global perspectives and what we can learn from each other. Shift towards holistic approaches in theme development and integration of sustainability, well-being, and global perspectives in curriculum design. Uh, so after this, actually, we decided that we want to celebrate the UN World Creativity and Innovation Week, WCIW, as it is popularly known. And that day was like is like 21st April. So we wanted to celebrate that. Uh, Before this year, we were having all our conferences in the month of November, which is known as the darkest month in Finland, because we get minimal daylight during that time. So we were hosting these conferences in November to have some light of knowledge during that time. But then UN declared this World Creativity and Innovation Week in 2019 and 2020. We wanted to celebrate that. So this WCIW is basically a week of world creativity and innovation, and it is to celebrate the Leonardo da Vinci's birthday, and also one day before International Earth Day. So we looked at this kind of event as, you know, an opportunity to encourage the creative thinking, multidisciplinary thinking, to help us achieve the sustainable future. And it is dedicated to all forms of creativity. It's basically celebration of creativity through the whole week. Now many people know about it and many people celebrate it. We often got the chief steward of this WCIW, Mr. Jim Friedman, to celebrate this week with us. So he has been the speaker on our conference many times, and it has been really a pleasure to have him over. But then, for this particular symposium, when we decided to celebrate this WCIW, then we got to know Honorable Professor Pekka Netanmäki from the University of Jyväskylä. He was the UNESCO chair for the University of Jyväskylä, and he was very pleased to collaborate with us to celebrate this week of creativity and innovation. So this is his quote, that we have vision to develop future ready creative education, and he is working on various types of projects integrating technology for better sustainable future of education. So thank you, Professor Pekka, for collaborating with us. And then happened, as we all know, COVID. But that did not deter our enthusiasm, and we shifted the whole conference to online platform. It was supposed to be conducted in University of Jyväskylä, but because of the COVID restrictions, as nobody could move out from their houses, we decided to conduct everything online. And the theme was, of course, related to COVID and responses to the COVID-19 pandemic in education. So the title was like Embracing Creativity amongst the ambiguity of COVID. And the outcomes was like lessons learned from remote and hybrid learning experiences. We got the participants from many different countries, like from a very remote village of Italy to the very big school in Canada. Everybody was facing similar kinds of problems, and it was heartening to see how the teachers were dealing with this challenge in different parts of the world. Then Symposium 8, still the COVID effect continued, and we had to again have the conference online. And then we talked about advancements in digital pedagogy and virtual learning. And the outcome was integration of digital tools for effective teaching. And this is like you can see like some examples from our earlier symposiums and the poster of the 8th symposium, that how we celebrated it. So trends post-COVID, what we found is that in Symposium 9, which was conducted in 2022, was about sustainability and global citizenship in education. And outcome was like strategies for incorporating environmental awareness into curricula. And there we got very good presentations from the African continent, mainly from Nigeria and from Rwanda. So those were really good speakers from there. And then the 10th symposium was conducted in 2023. It was about future ready skills and career oriented education. The outcome was preparation of students for evolving job markets and industries. We started conducting hackathons from Symposium 10, and it was a huge success. People really liked participating in hackathons, and they really wanted to develop those concepts further. Some of the teams are still working on their concepts, and we are eagerly waiting for the results. So these are like the trends and observations so far. Like this is the analytics is like increased focus on digital footprints. The conferences were more about learning, being learning centered, like emphasis on learner engagement, focus, and personalized learning experiences. We discussed a lot about innovative pedagogies, also about transversal competencies, which focuses on skill education and skill development. Similarly, the trend has been observed about global and inclusive education and the exchange of ideas globally and response to the challenges. So far we have done so much, and I guess now we should go to our next speaker, who is eagerly waiting for her turn, and I'll stop sharing in a while. Great. So now we have 59 participants. So Claudia, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So now the floor is all yours. And people, Claudia is joining us from Peru. By the way, what is the time in Peru right now, Claudia?
Well, tonight it's 7 in the morning, very, very early.
So very good morning to you, and please start your presentation.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Well, good afternoon. My name is Claudia Ketra. I am a Peruvian teacher, a family counselor, teacher, trainer, and I work 35 years as a preschool manager. Also, I write in newspaper and magazines about education. Now, I am sharing some of the best Finland education model in my country. I had just been there, and well, I learned a lot about Finland education model, and that's the idea. I was in Helsinki. Now I am in Madrid. I didn't return to my country. Well, I feel really very grateful. First, I wanted to tell you this and delighted because Council Creative Education is giving me the chance to participate in this webinar, Innovative Leadership, Driving Change in Education. The objective of this presentation is to achieve authentic leadership and value reforms since childhood, okay? Well, one of the most important problems we have in my country is a crisis of values and lack of teacher authority and leadership. So I am going to give you some pills about this, yes? Well, listen, excuse me. Well, it is established, no, that education is the foundation of society. So it's necessary that community, school, and family work together as figures of examples. Also, it's very important that parents know that they are the first educators of values, no, and the example for their children. Educating child normally, okay, I'm going today. Educating child normally and spontaneous form at the right time is necessary, and it's more easier than re-educating them later. So we must consider that there is a lot of evidence that show us that is between 0 to 6 years old when child's essential brain is developing. It's also important to remind that is in this period of life in which parents and teachers have the greatest influence in them. So creating an environment in which children learns to be confident, afraid to make mistakes, as to work in a collaborative way with others is very, very important, okay? But what has happened? Traditional education has focused only in pedagogical content, but has not looked at children holistically. This means that traditional education didn't include social emotional learning and social skills. Well, rules and patterns of conduct were not adapted from one generation to another. From an authoritarian education, it has abruptly changed to a liberal education. Another problem is that modern trends have emerged and propagate ideas such as if we correct children, we are going to repress them, or that this can create traumas to them. Yes? Well, in some cases, school and parents not always work together. And they consider also in some cases that parents are as clients. So school managers or teachers try always to satisfy their demands to avoid conflicts, but they really don't educate students. Parent satisfaction does not mean that. Parent satisfaction means that teachers help them to educate their children. And well, satisfaction can be, for example, in an excellent modern curriculum or the using of digital tools. But teachers must always educate our students. And well, another problem is that today, many teachers don't have time to listen to their students. They are always worried about papers or documents or reports, and they are not allowed to personalize teacher and do mentoring. That's very important now in these days. Traditional education also gives too much importance to those repetitive tasks that today they can be reduced using technology means. The communication with parents is important, very important, and it must be frequently in early childhood education. And for that, we can use, for example, technology means, no? So the communication is like very, very important. Another, well, problem is that, for example, now media and technology are great influencers in children's life. So we must not be afraid to incorporate it in our classes, no? And regarding the responsible and balanced use of this is needed, using or doing courses so students know that they must use it in a responsible way. Well, teachers are leaders. And what are leaders? Leader is an attitude, is a behavior in life. Leader is not words or nice words. It's how you manage at life, what you show, and what you do when you relate, you have relationship with people. The leader, no, teachers are leaders, and we must inspire and show with our own actions that we have faith in our words, that what we say, we do it in our own life. We must give example in our school, in our community, or in our family, no? So what we say, we must do it. So what can we do with all these problems? That's the most important thing, no? What can we do? First, I think it's very important to work with teachers and parents. So we, or they, excuse me, parents and teachers, can internalize that education itself has not changed. What has changed is the teacher's role in teaching and the way they reach students and engage with them. The teachers will always remain as teachers and will never be replaced. They are irreplaceable. I think it's important to empower teachers, yes? Empower teachers so we are seen as important figures and leaders of values. Teachers as a change agents of our community, of our school, and of our family. Consider that Teacher is the most important element of the educational system. It is not only the methodology used in preschools or schools, not only the technology, not only the languages taught or the classroom size or whatever school offers. Is the teacher the most important? If the teacher lost enthusiasm, they need to be supported to regain it, just as we do it with students, yes? So I think it's important to invest in teacher professional pedagogical studies through permanent training so they can renew their teaching tools, not only between teachers networking in their own country, but also with teachers around the world. Another solution is to enhance holistic well-being in school community. This means that we must include in this well-being managers, we must include teachers, parents, students, and all staff. Motivation and meaningful teaching ensures that each individual student's needs are met. It also means to foster personalized learning pathways. We must integrate technology into the classroom. We must not be afraid, parents and teachers, of this, but we must use it as a support for teachers and for students and for parents in developing digital tools and creative problem-solving skills. Okay, so we must work together with the educational ecosystem so children go responsible, taking care in daily life, not only for themselves, but for their environment. Also, it's very important that teachers educate them since childhood, not only for today, but for different life scenarios that they are going to have when they grow up, with abilities such as adaptability, technology, innovate mind, communication, solving problems, creativity, tolerance. Those abilities are really important for life. Now, children need more encouragement, more than punishment. So positive discipline helps us to reinforce good attitudes and sincerely praises. We really need to form a new generation of leaders with authority. That does not mean authoritarianism. So we can inspire values in our society to change it. Values as honesty, trust, confidence. We really need leaders who want to serve the society and not get served of it. I will define authority in a very simple way. For example, when a teacher is not at class or a parent is not at home, children have better behavior than when they are present. Because why? Because they are responsible, they are using responsible freedom, okay? And that is the point, how we must educate citizens for the future who use their freedom in a very responsible way. So I want to end my presentation with this nice reflection. The teaching that leaves a lasting impact isn't not from the head to head, but is from heart to heart. Yes. Okay, so Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Maybe if you have any questions.
Maybe not at the moment, but what a wonderful presentation. So thank you so much. And I really liked your quote. It's 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 like a philosophy in itself. Like the teaching that leaves a lasting impact isn't from head to head, but from heart to heart. So actually, in CCE, when we do the teacher training program, we don't call it as teacher training program, but we call it like teacher empowerment programs, because we also believe in empowering the teachers. Because I think we train dogs or we train the animals, but teachers, we don't need to train them. We need to empower them. So I totally believe in your quote. So thank you so much for this fantastic presentation, Claudia.
Thank you very much.
And now I would like to welcome Mrs. Heama from India. And Mrs. Heama, are you ready with your slides? So we can.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Claudia has to close the screen.
Yeah. You, Miss Claudia, you can stop sharing so that she can share the screen.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
So is the screen visible?
Yes, very much.
Okay. Yes. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. As you said, we are across different time zones. Hello to Ms. Shireen, my fellow panelist and distinguished guests who have joined us. I'm Mrs. Heama, a high school science teacher with 35 years of teaching experience. I'm passionate about innovative pedagogy and I love to explore cross-curricular approaches to teaching learning processes. I'm an avid reader and I continuously seek out new ideas to create a more integrated and engaging classroom experience for my students. So with that introduction, I'm very delighted to be part of the panel discussion today, and I will be sharing my views on the topic that I have chosen today, identifying and nurturing potential leaders in a school ecosystem. So leadership, it's one of those buzzwords that we hear all the time these days, right? It's there up with words like synergy, innovative solutions, and the dreaded phrase, can we hop on a quick call from our heads, right? But when we talk about leadership among co-workers, it's something much more deeper and much more important to our organization's success than just jargon. Spotting a future leader is not about who talks the loudest or who talks the most in meetings or who nods the maximum number of times. Leadership potential is a mix of traits, habits, and attitudes that, when recognized and nurtured, it not only just elevates the individual, but the organization as a whole. So let us start by defining, or rather redefining, who a leader is. A leader is not necessarily the person who holds the rank or a reserved car parking space. Leaders are the ones who influence and inspire others day in and day out, bring positive energy into the rooms every day, and make things happen, often without much fanfare. My dear friends, I want you all to think of someone in your team right now, a co-worker who you trust, who is always reliable, and who is probably a great listener. Now, think about that person who handles tough days with grace, who can calm a situation down with just a few words, or the one who quietly pushes everyone to do better by simply setting the right example. That is a leader for you, my dear friends. And these people are all around us. Are we noticing them? As John Quincy Adams once said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you're a leader. It's not about how powerful you are, it's about how impactful you are. So, how do we identify those with leadership potential in a school ecosystem? Point number one, sometimes the best way to spot a leader is to see people who people naturally turn for guidance or advice in times of distress. Surprisingly, it might not always be the person in charge. It's often that colleague who remains calm in chaos. It is that friend who offers support without judgment. It is that teacher who has a knack for making others feel better. The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things, but he is the one who gets the people to do the greatest things. Great leaders know that they cannot do it all alone. They don't go about carrying the world on their shoulders. So, watch for those co-workers who do not try to do everything themselves. Instead, they delegate tasks to others, showing that they trust their teams. So, leaders know their own strengths, their weaknesses, and the strengths of those around them and delegate accordingly. A boss has the title, a leader has the people. It's those who can get things done through others, lifting their teams along the way, who show the real leadership potential. Look around. The next point is one of the markers of a true leader is the ability to think creatively, especially when confronted with challenges. So look for co-workers amidst you who constantly bring new, fresh, innovative ideas to the table. These are the people who challenge the status quo and suggest innovative, sustainable solutions to long-lasting problems. These creative thinkers not only find a way out of the box, for all you know, they may be designing their own boxes. Organizations who see and act upon the opportunities and possibilities for change through innovation in the current volatile, uncertain, VUCA, what we call, right, complex environment, will not only survive, they will also flourish in the face of emerging adverse conditions every day that we see around us. These organizations will use innovation as a strategic, systemic, and technological lever for developing agile innovation cultures in their organizations. Innovation distinguishes a leader from a follower. We all know teaching is no walk in the park, more like a walk through a park with random fire drills and probably kids hiding behind the trees with water balloons waiting to shoot at you. So when things go wrong, trust me, my dear friends, they will. Pay attention to those who stay calm, positive, and resilient. This is what is called the adversity quotient, the ability to thrive through challenges, setbacks, and failures. That is a key leadership trait. Look for this amongst your friends. As Nelson Mandela said, do not judge by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back again. A true leader rises in the face of adversity, learns from mistakes, not afraid to commit mistakes again, and leads others forward. Here is a big one. Leadership today is not about rigid hierarchies anymore. The traditional top-down structure is breaking down in favor of a more horizontal, collaborative approach. As our educational landscapes continue to evolve, understanding the intricate intellectual structures and evolutionary pathways of new leadership evolving models becomes very important for fostering sustainable educational practices. Every day, as educators, we confront multifaceted challenges like augmenting student learning outcomes, fostering equity and inclusion inside the classroom, outside the classrooms, and my God, navigating swiftly evolving technological terrains. In these situations, the significance of distributed leadership emerges prominently. Okay, so what are we talking about now? Distributive leadership. What is this? It is a transformative framework, redefines leadership as a collective endeavor involving multiple stakeholders. So, my friends, look for colleagues who do not wait for someone above to tell them what to do. Instead, they take the initiative, collaborate across levels, and are very comfortable leading from where they stand. We need leaders who don't care about ranks or titles, but worry about whether they are being impactful. Okay, so now that you have spotted the potential leaders in your ecosystem, how do we nurture them? One of the most powerful ways to nurture leadership is put them on stage. Give the people the room to lead. It doesn't have to be a formal title. Offer them a chance to spearhead a project or steer a committee. Sometimes the best leaders, they don't even realize what they are capable of until they are given an opportunity to shine. It is our responsibility to ensure these opportunities are given to all equally. Encourage collaboration, not just competition. Leadership is not about who is better than who. It's about how we work together to make the team stronger. Encourage your potential leaders to collaborate, to mentor others, share ideas without the fear of being undercut. The best leaders don't hoard knowledge, they share it freely. The most successful organizations are built on collaborations and not on competitions. With the breakdown of traditional hierarchies, we are now looking at a new leadership map because leadership today is all about networking, connecting, and building bridges across teams. The next point is about monitoring, mentoring, guidance, and feedback. Potential leaders need feedback, and not just, you did great kind of feedback, but the real good constructive ones that will help them to grow. And more importantly, they need someone to mentor them, to show them the road, to help them navigate the tricky parts of leadership. Be that mentor for someone or encourage them to seek one. Trust me, my friends, just try saying this to one of your potential leaders. Hey, buddy, no matter what, I trust you. Go ahead and do if you think it's good for organization. I will have your back always. You would see a leader being born at that moment right in front of your eyes. Today's students, no matter where in the world they live, will need to solve problems that loom on a global scale: hunger, poverty, climate change, and whatnot. But to do so, they will need an education that is equally global in scope, delivered by educators who are prepared to focus on the child holistically, as my other panelist was talking today. So we are going to need teachers who are also thinking about these global challenges and who would be empowered to help children draw connections and use their own knowledge to find innovative cross-border solutions. So are we having that kind of excellent teachers? Because these kind of excellent teachers need excellent professional development programs. Good professional development must be tactical. It should focus on teacher autonomy and professionalism, yes, but it should also give the educators the specific tools from where they can draw and adapt to their own context. And today, in 21st century, effective professional development is not just for teachers, because teachers don't exist in isolation. Their roles often intersect with guidance counselors, administrators in and outside of the school building. So, professional development for teachers who are focused on the child holistically should include the entire social context in which the teachers are existing. It should also allow the teachers to reflect and change not only their mindset or practices, but for the whole school community. Before you are a leader, your success is all about you growing. When you become a leader, success is all about helping others to grow. Wrapping my speech. So, what are we looking for in our potential leaders? These 7 traits is what I came across. These people will be disciplined, they will have a growth mindset, they are opportunity seekers, laser focused, emotionally intelligent, self confident, and most importantly, they are eternal learners. Great leaders don't set out to be a leader because it was always never about the role, but it was always about the goal. So be the leader you wish you had. So remember, as Maxwell said, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Let's commit ourselves to not just identifying ourselves, developing ourselves, but let us go about, hold hands, and also empower our own friends in our own school community. Because in doing so, we all rise. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. What a fantastic presentation.
Thank you. Any questions? Or
Yeah,
we
it's for the audience. Like, do you want to have something, ask something at the moment?
or we can table the Q&A for later.
Yeah, for the end, no problem at all. But thank you so much. The presentation was so much self-explanatory, and the way you narrated it showed your expertise as a teacher, no doubt about that. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, and liked your anecdotes and your examples and the models that you wanted to present to us. The concept of adversity quotient and things like that, and also the last quote which you did not read to us, but it's like a man who is leading the orchestra has to turn down the back to the audience, so he is not there to take the appreciation but to lead the team, and he's happy when the team gets appreciated. So that's, I think, a wonderful idea of leadership, and I'm really happy and delighted to have you with us here. So be with us till the next presentation, the end of the webinar, all of you who are here. And now it's turn of Dr. Fatin, who has joined us from Indonesia. Dr. Fatin, are you there? The sun in Finland has brightened up my face so much. I'm really dazzling here in the sunlight. Yes, Dr. Fatin.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay, please go ahead.
Please help to share the PowerPoint.
But we can't see you, Dr. Fatin. Is your camera on?
Kamera udah? Udah ada kan? Ini loh, mana punya saya?
I think we are seeing some background of some presentation here, but not your face.
Tadi ada.
Please have to share the PowerPoint, Sherin.
Okay.
Yes.
Nandini, can you share your screen? And
Ini PowerPoint di dalam loh. Yes.
Yeah, kindly share the screen and then Dr. Fatin will be able to present her talk.
Belum ditampilkan. Passwordnya bunga bangsa tuh yang mau pakai itu wifi bunga bangsa tuh gede semua ini baru balas.
Suaranya masuk loh.
So, Dr. Fatin, how are you doing today? My colleague is sharing her screen for your presentation, but by that time you can talk to us. What's the time
Will
in
I have
Indonesia?
to share the PowerPoint, Shirin?
Yeah. We have
Okay,
that.
okay.
So my colleague is
Okay, thank
sharing
you.
that. So
Okay,
but
thank you.
it's taking a little while for her to share. So meanwhile, Dr. Fatin, you can introduce yourself also. Oh, you could share it.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah. So please go ahead then.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Fatin Hamamah. I was at the University 17 August 1945, Cirebon. I came from Indonesia. I am a lecturer expert of criminal law. Allow me to present a working paper in this international webinar and the title Policy in Leadership in School Education. Introduction, Leadership and Policy in Education, the role of policy in school leadership. Policies are essential foundation that guide leadership practices in school. They cover administrative, academic, and innovative aspects to advance the school progress. Leadership as a change agent, educational leaders are expected to translate policies into practical action within the school environment. Challenges of policy in school leadership. One, rapidly changing curriculum policies. Curriculum policies are frequently adjusted to meet the demands of the times. A challenge for school leaders is ensuring effective implementation of the change. One, policies and access to educational technology. Policies on technology integration are often uneven, particularly in underprivileged areas. School leaders must ensure that technology is implemented effectively and inclusively. 3. Policy on teacher welfare and human heroes. Teacher professional development and welfare policies present significant challenges. School leaders must inform policies that support continuous training and teacher well-being. Innovative policies in educational leadership. One data-driven policy, the goal is to optimize evidence-based policies to improve learning outcomes. The example is using student performance data to develop school improvement programs. 2. collaborative leadership policy. The goal is to engage all stakeholders in the decision-making process. The example is parental and community involvement programs in school training. 3. Technology-driven teacher development policy. The goal is expand access to professional development through digital platform. The example is online training platform for teachers to enhance their skill. Case studies of leadership policies in education. Case study 1, technology policy at Jakarta, Indonesia School. Implementations of technology policies that improve the learning process. Use of digital tools supported by a local government policy. Case study 2, school collaborative policy at Jakarta, Indonesia School. Adoption of a collaborative approach in policy decision making. Positive impact on community engagement in education. Education quality improvement through the Sekolah Penggerak program. In 2020, the Indonesian Ministry of Education launched the Sekolah Penggerak driving school program, the field school program, at improving the quality of education by focusing on leadership development, student strengthening, and curriculum innovation. Leadership response. School leader who embraced the Sekolah Penggerak initiative actively fostered a culture of innovation, encouraging teachers to experiment with new teaching methodologies such as project-based learning and interdisciplinary collaboration. Principal receive additional training of instructional leadership, empowering them to mentor teacher more effectively. Some schools also partnered with external education experts to ensure that the reform were led with best practice and could be sustained long term. Impact of policy on educational leadership. Improvement of learning quality. Adaptive curriculum policy lead to improve educational quality. School leaders play a strategic role in executing PETS policies, strengthening the role of teacher. Policies on teacher welfare and development contribute to better teaching quality. Continuous professional development must be integrated into school policies. Conclusion. Effective policy in educational leadership. Policies must be responsive to global, technological, and resource-related challenges. School leaders are responsible for implementing policies effectively. Innovation and collaboration in policy. Data-driven and collaborative leadership policies are keys to overcoming educational challenges. Policy innovation through technology are essential for advancing educational system. That's from me, and thank you very much for your good evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Fatin. And we were listening you about the policy that the Indonesian government has brought, like the driving schools program. And thank you for informing all of us about it. And it will be important to see what kind of results you get from implementing this policy. It has very good intentions, and we are very eager to know like what will happen uh, after everybody like implement this policy. Um, so thanks again for joining us today. I would like to go to the audience and check if there are any questions or comments they want to make. Anybody wants to make any comment or question? Of course, I can see that there are two questions. What is the education policies in your countries or on access to high education? For high education, do you mean like higher education for students with disabilities? Dr. Abdul Karim or Dr. Fatin, would you like to give answer to this question? Maybe they are having some problem there, but the comments we have got are very good. Like Mrs. Heema's presentation was excellent. The points discussed were relevant to identifying potential leaders among students as well as amongst teachers as well. And we also got the same kind of comments for our first presenter also. So thank you so much for both our presenters. And now I would like to wrap this session today. So Mrs. Heama and Claudia, Miss Claudia and Dr. Fatin, thanks to all of you for being the speakers today evening. And for rest of you who joined us as an audience, we also are very grateful that you chose to invest your 1 hour with us. And we are hopeful that you must have learned something new today. So please also keep an eye on our next announcements of our webinars, and keep an eye on what topics we bring in, and be ready to present yourself also as a speaker. It's a very good experience, and I would like to have quick comments from first from Miss Claudia and then from Mrs. Heama about today's webinar. So, Miss Claudia, what do you think? Like, what is your takeaway from this webinar, if in a couple of sentences?
Well, I am very grateful with what we learned, the experience we had with teachers around the world, and that change of ideas, it's like very important, as I said in my presentation, not only be related with teachers in our own environment. No, now we are working with teachers from another continents, and really I feel that I am taking very important tips and ideas, no, concrete ideas that will help me, in my case, training teachers so they can identify future leaders. And as I told, is what we really need in many countries. Leaders who want to serve, really serve from the heart to the society and not get served of it. Thank you very much. I am really very grateful of this moment I have shared with you.
Thanks a lot, Ms. Claudia. Mrs. Heama, what would you say about today evening?
First, I should thank CCE for giving this platform. If not for this platform, it would not have been possible for us teachers to meet and share our views, right? Because the world has shrunk. Nowadays, it is global village. It is not just, the students have to have some cross-country ideas. It's very important that we teachers also become global. So it's going to become a very important aspect in the years to come. So these kind of platforms really serve the purpose, and there are a lot of takeaways. As Ms. Claudia was telling, we find that the situation is same all over the world. Children are same all over the world. We have the same kind of challenges as educators, and navigating these challenges is becoming more and more complex. And with these kind of sharing of ideas, not only within our organization but globally, it's really going to go a long way as educators, for us to deal with these challenges in our own school ecosystem. So thank you for giving this excellent opportunity, and we look forward to more of these kind of platforms where you can hear other speakers also. Thank you so much, Shirin.
Thanks a lot for your time and your efforts. And now I would like to invite you all to our symposium, 12th symposium that we will be hosting in May. And I'll just talk about it in for a couple of minutes. So I hope you can see my screen. And this is about the 12th International Symposium on Creative Education. The topic is education leadership. So it's Education Leadership Summit. And it will happen in Finland from 4th to 9th May 2025. There are two models. First is like 4th to 9th May. It's a residential program, training program, which also includes the symposium, which means the paper presentation, the workshops, everything will be there. And from the 4th to 7th of May, it is like the school visits, because we often get the request that when people come to Finland, they don't want to only participate into the conference, but they also want to know more about the Finnish schools, and they want to visit the schools. So you all are welcome to join us here. We have this call for papers. We still have the Super Saver offer. We will extend the offer for those of you who want to join, but you have to write to us, and then we can make it available also to you, and we can extend the deadline for you. The venue is Lahti campus of Lapinranta University of Technology. The campus is very, very beautiful. So you would all love to come there. And the registration of the symposium is already open. The abstract submission deadline is 20th of December. So do not miss it, and come to Finland in big numbers so that we all can talk to each other, meet each other, and share ideas and do a lot of fun. So welcome to Finland. And now I will take your leave and enjoy your evening. And this has been fun being here with all of you. And I really enjoyed my Friday evening.